Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and this is set number 71477, the Sandman Tower from the LEGO Dreamzzz theme. This set contains 723 pieces, 6 minifigures, and will retail for $89.99 when it officially releases on January 1st, 2024. This set was sent to me earlier for review by the LEGO Group through the LEGO Ambassador Network, but all opinions expressed in this video are my own. Now, this set is a LEGO Dreamzzz set, and just like all other LEGO Dreamzzz sets, there is a 2-in-1 aspect to this build. I will be covering both builds in this video, so make sure to watch the video all the way through if you want to see both. Also, if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and let me know in the comments which LEGO Dreamzzz set you want to see an early review on next. But now, with all that being said, let's get into the review. So here's the Sandman Tower, and yeah, they weren't lying when they said tower. This thing is very tall, like incredibly vertical. It's not often that we see LEGO sets like this. Most of the time they're wider than they are tall, but it does like really help this one stand out. I love the overall color scheme too. The white and the bright orange is super unique. I especially love that bright orange. The use of bright orange to be sand instead of like tan or something really just adds to the whimsy of the overall build, because of course this is LEGO Dreamzzz. This is meant to like take place in the dream world. It's not supposed to be like super realistic. So I think that bright orange is really what ties together this entire set for me, and I don't think it would be the same without it. But yeah, I want to give you a moment to take in this entire build. Of course you saw it in the intro too, but now let's move up a little bit closer and take a look at like every individual aspect of this build. Starting at the base of the build, I just love the roundness to everything. Again, that does a great job to contribute to that like very whimsical dreamlike feel. The edges of this build aren't rigid, they're like these round circular plates, and genuinely just look fantastic. We have a giant brick build gear down here too. There's also a second one up higher in the build, but I love the way that was done. The shape's captured so well, and I like how it's on an angle too, and I love how it helps add to the asymmetry of the build too, because while the build like is one consistent tower, right, each side's not exactly the same. Like you have the gear on one side but no gear on the other, and then you have these little bits of sand falling down each side, but they're not in the same places nor the same length. So you can see there's like this really long stream of sand right here, but on the other side in that same spot there's just absolutely nothing. Though right next to it is this piece, which is a recolor of the Unity tail piece, and that's just a little bit of sand falling out. On the other side there's sand coming out of the window, but you can see the window on the left side is completely open. There's of course also 2 stickers on the walls of the palace showcasing some of the sand like swirling, with like white and gold bricks behind it too. If you guys have watched the part of LEGO Dreamzzz that this actually appears in, I feel like they capture the magic of it so well. I apologize if I'm repeating myself a little bit, but it does feel so like whimsical, magical. There's so much life even just like in this first section. The designers really did just such a fantastic job. Anyway, you can see here there's 2 lanterns hanging down, and the color that they use here is a little bit interesting. That, I believe, comes from either LEGO Dots or LEGO Friends. It's like this sort of transparent, sparkly blue color. It's not something we see used all too often outside of those themes, so seeing it used for only 2 parts is actually kind of cool. It definitely helps it stand out, and I feel like it fits the vibes of LEGO Dreamzzz too. And then, of course, there's the double doors in here, which you can push open, and that way your minifigures can get in and out. Turning around, taking a look inside, there's not a ton going on here. Like, there's a little bit, but really not too much. There's a little dummy right here that's holding 2 weapons. We have like a machete as well as a longer sword. And then on the other side of the room we have this desk. You can see it has 2 vials hanging down which seem to have some sort of trans pink liquid in there or something. Obviously that's just a trans pink stud and just like a classic LEGO glass piece. As well as the purple crystals over here, and this is actually a pretty cool part. This is of course just the classic LEGO Power Miners crystal piece, but this is a color I haven't seen it in before. Again, I think it's similar to that blue on the front where it comes from either Friends or Dots. Not sure exactly. But yeah, it's like this sparkly purple where it's translucent, so it is see-through but not like a ton. And it just leads to a really cool effect. That's a really nice part to get. Definitely happy to see it here in this set. That entire desk build is made to be very easily removed though, so now you can see the full interior. Of course these doors back here can close up, and there's how they attach to the back of the wall. I will say one of my biggest criticisms with this entire set is that sometimes the builds just feel a little bit empty. Cause yeah, I know I removed the desk here, but I don't know, it's a lot of open space in here. In this room it's not so bad because you do have the desk and like the little weapon rack, but as we go on you'll see in the rest of the build there really isn't too much going on actually inside, which is a little bit disappointing to see. I definitely would have liked some more accessories in here, because even though I like open space to display minifigures, you can always remove accessories, right? So yeah, I just would have appreciated a little more included. But anyway, now we can move up to the next level up here, and yeah, you can see in here there's basically nothing going on. Like this entire room doesn't have anything to like interact with. There is stuff on the outside, but the actual interior part of the castle doesn't have anything going on. There is still some cool stuff happening though. For example, we have these staggered clock pieces on the outside. The sands, of course, once again bright orange, and they keep that like very rounded look even up here. Around the front we have a sticker next to Night Shield with that like hourglass logo on it, and then just like one of the LEGO Dreamzzz hourglass pieces right here. I do like this entire section, it looks pretty cool. The tooth pieces really add a lot, and this is just such a nice place to display that hourglass. I just wish the interior behind it had a little more going on. On the other side we have the same exact sticker clock piece, and then finally there's a little lookout point right here which you can see has a telescope, and there's plenty of room just to stand figures right there. And then if we move up once more we can come to the next level, and this one does have a little bit going on in the interior. There's this little stand with a book on it, and I'm gonna remove that so you can see it a little bit better. But yeah, this is just 2 stickered pieces. One has gears and that that crystal on it, and the other has that hourglass symbol. And you can see that this is the way that everything connects. It's actually really cool, a very good representation of an open book. And it just connects into the build on a single jumper piece. Around the front I have the Sandman standing here right now, but I'll remove him. But yeah, you can see this little outlook where you can pose a figure, and it does fit the entire Sandman figure, even with that tail piece. Which that's of course nice to see, because this is his tower. And then we have another one of those unique tail pieces to represent the sand flowing down. Part of the trees growing out of the side right here too, with the same blue leaf. Here's that second gear build, which is built exactly the same. It's not on an angle anymore though. And it's able to be moved ever so slightly, like there's a little bit of movement there, but not really a ton. It looks best just hugging the side of the build. And then we come to the very top room, which is probably the coolest one in this entire build. So for one, I want to take a look at this piece right here. This is kind of crazy, because this is a printed part. And it's like one of these rounded disc pieces, and they've come in plenty of sets before, but I've never seen the underside printed. I've seen the opposite side printed before, but never the underside. And that's really, really neat. It's kind of just like this piece in a different context that I've never seen before. Anyway, this is meant to be a clock, so you can see they use the Ninjago Air Blade piece right here to represent the different hands, and they try to make them different sizes, so we would have the minute hand, the hour hand, and the second hand. Or actually, no, that's probably the second hand, that's the minute hand. I'm not sure. Regardless, though, you have the three hands of the clock. And there's some motion with this, too. If you spin the gear on the side, the clock will actually spin, as well as the entire structure on top of the build. Looking inside, this is the interior, and of course, it's got the whole gear system in here. You can fit figures if you want, like there is a little bit of room, but it's mostly meant to contain the gear system. But yeah, you turn this gear on the side, that spins that one, and this one in the middle, and that spins everything on top. And then moving up, taking a look at the very top level, this looks so nice. Lots of little golden frog pieces, because every LEGO set comes with frogs nowadays. These large gold pieces, I believe years ago, were introduced for LEGO Friends for like a hot air balloon, and this is using them in a very different context, but wow, they look so beautiful here. And the center of this too, this is actually a little hourglass. There's two of those dome pieces, one has a trans blue stud inside and the other one has a bright orange stud inside, and that's supposed to be the sand dripping down from one part to the other. And of course, as you spin this, those studs will move a little bit too. But I really love the design of this, it's like truly built in there. And then if we move up above that, you can see there's like this blue energy, which I assume is what that blue stud is, coming from the top flowing down into the hourglass. This is a build I think is super cool too in the middle of the ring. Those slope pieces just make a really unique shape. And then of course everything's topped off with a spike at the top. Now this entire section is designed to be easily removed. You can just take it off like this. It only attaches on 4 studs. So if you want to display just this part elsewhere, I suppose that's an option you have. And I think that's about all I have to show you for the main build of the Sandman Tower. And as I said, there's a lot I like and a lot I don't like. It's not awful by any means, don't get me wrong, but I really wish there was more just like happening in this build. While there is a ton of space to play, which is something I do very much appreciate, it feels like there's very little life actually in the build. The outside looks absolutely beautiful. I love all the sand, I love how animated everything is. The bright orange is such a pretty color combined with the white. But the interior kind of just feels half thought out. Like the book is cute and I like the whole clock section, but I don't know, I just wish there was more going on here. That being said, it is undeniable how good this looks on the front. Like I love these colors, I love the design, and I do genuinely think it could be fun to play with. Like there is a ton of room to pose figures. However, of course, this is not the only build in this set. There is an alternate build, and we will take a look at that in just a moment. First though, I want to take a look at the side builds in the set, then I'll take the set apart and rebuild it and show you what the alternate version of this set looks like. And then after that, we'll have an up-close look at the minifigures in this set. So here's the first side build in the set, this bird for Izzie, and this thing is so goofy, I love it. You can see it's got printed eyepieces, which I believe are new and exclusive. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, like I don't recognize that from anywhere else. But yeah, this is a wacky shaped bird. I guess something else I should point out immediately is that is a new LEGO color used on both the wings and the tail. I think we're calling it reddish orange, but yeah, it's a new shade of orange between LEGO's standard orange and their standard red color. And it's very interesting, I'm excited to see it in their portfolio. Removing Izzie though, here's a full look at the bird, and yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a very, very goofy looking build. Objectively, do I think it looks good? No, not really. But is it funny and fun, and does it fit the world of LEGO Dreamzzz? Yes, absolutely. My favorite part about this build is it actually has little feet underneath. You can see they tuck away right here, so most of the time you can't really notice that they're there, but no, they are individually posable, so if you want to stand the bird up a little bit, you can, and that actually might look a little bit better. Each of the individual wings are also on ball joints, of course. There's a little bit of posability at the tail, as well as on the head. So yeah, this is silly. I think there's fun to be had, but nothing all too crazy in my opinion. And then the other side build in the set is the spider for the villains. And this thing's simple, but it's very fun as well. It uses like bullhorn pieces to be little fangs, which is so cute, and I love the trans pink eyes. And then like the back section of its body is actually a little pod, and it has 2 just standard LEGO spider pieces inside, so now you have like a whole army of 3 spiders. That is a sticker on the spider's back, and of course the head can be rotated and the back part can be rotated, and then each of the 6 individual legs can also be hinged. This is only a couple of parts, but I do think it's a really good build. It's lots of fun and it also just looks good. I think it's a great inclusion in this set. And it's just about time for me to take apart this set and rebuild it, but before I do that, I want to show you the instruction booklet for this set, because because the instruction booklets in the LEGO Dreamzzz sets are always really interesting. You can see the cover is fully illustrated, and yes, all the bright orange parts of the build are like actually illustrated as sand. That looks so cool. The bird looks a lot cuter here too. But anyway, when you get to page 80 as well as bag 5 of 70, you get a choice. You can either build a tower, which we just looked at, or you can build this fortress, which I'm about to build. Here's the full art for the tower if you're curious, and here's a look at what the fortress is going to be. So now, with that in mind, let me take this apart and rebuild it, and show you what the alternate build is like. Here's the alternate build of the Sandman Tower all put together, and you can see now, of course, it's more of a fortress than a tower, and I'm going to be completely honest, I wasn't expecting much from this build. I was looking at the back of the box, and I was like, the main build's better. Don't have a ton of interest in this one, but I'll just do it for the review. But I have to say, having now built this all up, I think I like this more than the main build. It just feels a lot more complete to me, and also a lot more unique. So let me take you through everything that was changed up. Obviously, the base of the build is still the same because bags 1 through 4 are the same, but bags 5 through 7 were built differently. So for example, that gear is no longer on the side of the building, rather the trees moved down here, and all 3 branches of the tree are now a part of one build, instead of being in 2 separate sections. The hot air balloon pieces now come out around the front, and it just looks so elegant. I especially love how they topped off with the tooth pieces too. Really unique. The bottom floor of the build is still exactly the same, but moving up to the middle floor, now there's the giant clock built into the middle right here, so I don't feel as bad about this being so empty. There's still not like any furniture or anything, but it does feel like this space is being used properly, so I don't mind it as much, though I still would have liked some stuff on the sides. That book from the 3rd floor now has been moved down here, and the railings have gotten taller, and they now have spikes coming off of them too. The hourglass was on the top of the build is now in the center, and it's like a giant cannon, which looks so cool. You can see it's the same exact hourglass build, but it's just got 4 blasters out the front. And then on a similar note, the clock from the top of the build is combined with those gear pieces, and I think the two fit together really well because the printed clock piece does have gears on it, and you can see this is actually able to spin. The frogs do still top off the build, which is very cute, but there is still motion in this build. If I turn this gear around the back, that'll rotate the clock gear, but also the hourglass cannon at the bottom. And that's awesome. It's like the clock's powering the hourglass to like fire any enemies that are coming in. That is such a great feature. I really, really love that. There's now an additional structure off to the side too. There's like this cloudy path, but it does still have some studs if you want to stand minifigures to get across. And this is just a tiny little 2-floor structure. There's a gem kept down here, and on the upper level, unfortunately, there's not anything. Again, I would have liked something there, but this doesn't feel as big as the other build, so it doesn't feel as blatant that nothing's here. But yeah, something in the back right here would have looked nice. And then, of course, this section is topped off by what was on the top of the full tower build. We've got the standard hourglass piece right here, as well as that next to night shield, and funnily enough, that's actually been flipped upside down, but it still works. And then, yeah, you can see the other 2 hot air balloon pieces are down here, too. This straight up does not feel like the same build at all, and I mean that in the best way possible. The designers did a fantastic job, and I truly think I like this more than the original. While the other version I think is probably more elegant, this just feels like more fun, and I think it's going to be the one that I continue to display in my collection. Regardless, though, I think it's so cool that all LEGO Dreamzzz sets have 2 builds, and this is a great example of that system. But I think that's about all I have to say for the builds of the set, so now let's take a look at the minifigures, and then I'll give you my overall thoughts. So moving on to what might be the most exciting part about this set for some people, the minifigures. Here are the first 2. We have Mateo and Izzie, and I won't spend too long on these 2 because it's the same exact versions that came out in 2023. However, that doesn't change the fact that they're really good figures. They do come in quite a few sets at this point, but I do really, really love them. The level of detail here is incredible, especially with both of their dual molded legs. Mateo's of course gray and red, and Izzie is blue and purple, and there's just a really nice print to them too. Mateo's got this really cool like green cape piece, and both of their hair pieces are incredible. I love both of their weapons too, Mateo's brick-built pencil as well as Izzie's sword. Of these 2 though, Izzie is definitely the minifigure that I prefer. I will say it's a little disappointing Izzie does not come with her waist cape in this set. She didn't have it in every set in the first wave, but she did have it in a few, and it just looks better on her. The figure's not bad without it, don't get me wrong, but it certainly helps things. So that would have been nice to see here, but I suppose it's not a big deal. And both of them have really great facial expressions too, very expressive. I especially love that happy smiling face on Izzie. There's a look at the back torso prints too. Yeah, if you want to see my more in-depth thoughts, go check out my Dreamzzz reviews from earlier this year. But in short, these 2 are both great. 2 main characters of the show, so it's good to get them here. But I don't have a ton to say because, yeah, they haven't changed. But now moving on to the new figures in the set, we have Logan and the Sandman. Starting out with Logan, he's not small anymore. I'm not sure why this is. I don't remember that happening in the show, so maybe this is a Season 2 thing. The set seemed to be mostly based on Season 1, though. But yeah, Logan's not small anymore. He's big, but he is still blue. I like getting a full minifigure version of Logan because the small version, while it's cute, I don't know, I wanted to have like a full version of this guy. And I like the design for his torso and legs. He's got like the tattered clothing. Around the back, you can see his hoodie says Monsters. Good hairpiece, too. It's still the Benthamar hairpiece. And then this is actually a new face print for him, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know what to think about this, because it kind of looks like he has a mustache now. You guys see that? I don't know if Logan got very old very fast or what's going on there, but that kind of caught me off guard. But yeah, that's a new facial expression for him. One side's very happy, the other side's very angry. But both, I think, are good expressions. Curious to see if and when this pops up in the show. This guy's not on the same level of detail as some of the other Dreamzzz figures, but that's not a bad thing. Doesn't make a bad figure by any means. I think the white, the blue, and the black is a great color combination, and I'm happy to see a full minifigure version of this guy. guy. But now we'll move on to the figure that I was the most excited for, the Sandman, because wow, look at this guy. He's entirely made out of that bright orange sand. And when I first pulled this box out, I was so excited to see this figure in hand. And I have to say, I'm a little bit let down. Not a ton, but a little bit, and that's mostly in this tail piece. Because that's the tail piece that was introduced for LEGO Hidden Side, and then it was reused for Nia and Ninjago. And on the box art for this set, this looks so cool. Look how vibrant the orange is on it. It like perfectly melds with that trans blue. I was so excited to get that piece. In hand though, unfortunately, that's just not what it looks like. There is those two colors, the trans blue and the bright orange, but the trans blue sort of overtakes the bright orange and washes it out, and it does not look nearly as good. Like, it's fine, I'm glad to see a recolor, but I really wish it looked as good as it did on the box, because it would have been a much better transition from the tail into the body, and it would have looked amazing, but unfortunately that's just not the case with the physical figure. So yeah, that was a letdown. However, the rest of the figure is still really good. Removing the tail piece, there's a look at the figure up a little bit closer, and as I said, I love all that bright orange. It looks so cool. He's got like these metallic silver scratches on him too, which really pop. And you can see he does have the same hairpiece as Logan, but again in bright orange, which is such a wacky color for that part that I never expected to get. The like wrap that he has on his torso is really nice, and I love the transition into the legs of the way like these swirls sort of fade out. That metallic printing's on his face too, you can see underneath his eye patch. And there is an alternate face on this guy too where he has no eye patch. Or sorry, no, that's not an eye patch. That's like the thing that jewelers use to look up closer at something, right? It's just like a magnifying glass. Anyway, he doesn't have that on this side, but he's got a happy expression, and that looks really great too. So yeah, this is a really fantastic, really unique minifigure. The tail piece was just a letdown, but without that, he's still really great, so I'm still happy to get him, but I just really wish this was a bit better. And then here are the final two minifigures in this set. We have the Never Witch and we have Sneak. The Never Witch is a new villain for this set, and as of this moment, exclusive to this set, and she's got an amazing new hairpiece like combined with her crown. That's an incredible new part to see. I love like the bird wings around the back too. So unique. You can see she carries a scepter as an accessory, and if we take that hairpiece off, you can see her full torso print, which, whoa, there's a lot going on there. It's sort of like an evil variant of the Sandman torso, right? She's got sort of like crazier swirls going on, but it's black and purple instead of like the bright orange. It seems like they're maybe trying to have a parallel there. Love her expression too, so full of life and personality. She feels very like wicked and sinister. And then turning her around, she does have an alternate face where, whoa, okay, that's really cool. She's got like this magenta makeup covering one side of her face. That looks fantastic. This is an amazing villain design. I really like this. Wow. This is actually my first time looking up super close at this minifigure because I built the set and then filmed the review. But no, genuinely, I think I might like this one more than the Sandman. I wasn't expecting to say that, but no, this is genuinely so cool. Fantastic villain design. I love her. And then finally we have Sneak, who I am so happy to get because he had a fairly prominent role in the first season of Dreamzzz, but he didn't come in any of the first wave sets, and I thought we were just never going to get him. So I'm quite happy to see he was finally included here. You can see that's an all new molded body piece for him, and he actually has a clip in his tail. So for example, if I want to give him an accessory like the scepter, I can clip that into his tail right there, and that way he can hold that. He does just use a standard minifigure head though, which that can be removed. So there's how that body looks. You can see there's no printing or anything. I'd be curious to see if this is going to be used anywhere else for any other character ever, but it is a fun part at the very least. And then he just uses like the man-bat hairpiece, and very cute little expression with like drool coming out of his mouth. No alternate face on him, which I guess is fine. But yeah, not a super complex minifigure, but a really cool new molded part, and a character that I'm very happy to get. The Never Witch, though, has got to be my favorite character in this set. Genuinely so impressed by this one. But overall, what are my thoughts on this set? Well, of course, it always comes down to the one thing that I mentioned at the end of all my reviews, and that is the price. And the price on this one's a little bit rough, I can't lie. This is, of course, a set that LEGO sent to me early, so I did not go out and buy it myself. And I actually got this before these sets were revealed, so I didn't know how much it was going to cost. So I put it together, and I'm like, oh, this is probably $60, maybe $70. That seems solid for that. But then I look at the price and it's $90. And $90 is not like awful for this, like it's okay, but a $90 set nowadays is not what a $90 set used to be. This to me feels like it should be $80 at absolute maximum, but probably $70 would be best for it, especially considering we only get 6 minifigures in the set. I don't know, $90 definitely seems to be pushing it. Price aside though, because I know some people don't care as much about price, I do think there's a lot to enjoy in this set. Again, I wish the interior of the building was a little more fleshed out, because I think that would make me like the tower version of this build a little bit more. However, that being said, I do really love the fortress version of this build, and the minifigure selection is pretty great, even if it could use 1 or 2 more minifigures given the price point. All of that being said, this is a super unique set, so like if you're not a fan of LEGO Dreamzzz, this would be a set I'd still consider just because of how cool it looks. And if you don't mind a little bit of customization, like filling out some interiors, I do think there's a lot of fun to be had with this set. So I guess to me the set is like so close to being really good, but I just hesitate a little bit from a couple of things. So would I recommend it? I mean, if this interests you and it's in your budget, I'd say yes. That being said, if you were hesitant about it in the first place, I don't think you need to get this one. It's the kind of thing that like like, if you really want it, I think you will enjoy it. But if you're not sure, honestly, my advice would be to hold off at least until it goes on sale. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. As I mentioned at the beginning, make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and let me know in the comments which LEGO Dreamzzz set you want to see an early review on next. But as of this one, I think that's about all I have to say, so thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!